Good morning. I'm Evelyn Krell, and as a member of the Board of Trustees, I want to welcome each and every one of you here this morning to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Huntington, and to tell you that there's room for each and every one of you at our table, at the fellowship table. This includes if you believe in God, if you're an atheist, if you're a humanist, if you're an agnostic, male, female, been here a long time, first time today, young, older. It includes you all, and you have a place at this table. What we hold in common are the 7 principles from the UUA and that we support. And these are written on the outside of the folder that includes your order of service, and they're worth taking a good look at. They help us to do our social justice, fight for equity, try to be compassionate and caring of one another. And I'll read the last one right from here. And develop respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. After the service this morning, the UN service, please join me in the social hall, which has been newly decorated and painted and fresh and beautiful. Come in for coffee, and members of the board will be there. Helene, I'm going to make this, Heinerman, she's still greeting people, or I'd have her stand up. We'll be there to answer any questions you might have, or any comments, or just to be available to all of you. And I want to charge the congregation, the members, to also take part in the welcoming of newer people. It's sometimes difficult to walk into the coffee room and not really know where to start or how to break into a conversation. So you'll gain something from it because you'll know what new people are looking for and what they're asking, and we'll all be able to help people get acclimated to our ways. Now, I have some announcements to make. There's going to be a Sunday forum on November 3rd at 9:30 a.m. to 10:15. And the title is, Where is the Internet Taking Us? We can relate to that. How do we handle the knowledge explosion and the shift from individual to collective and from free will to not so free will? Milt Mazer will review essays and lead a discussion. A linked summary will be provided in advance. Another announcement, our minister, Reverend Jude Geiger, who is not here today but will be here next week, has asked me to announce that next week we will be remembering people who have passed on before us, and that some of our loved ones. And you can bring some pictures of these people, and they will be arranged somewhere up here and be part of the celebration of All Souls Day. And now we will have Ken and Richard, who will be performing.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rich.
And I'm Ken.
Hey, Ken, you know what I heard?
What'd you hear?
I heard that new is so old.
You mean that everything old is new again?
And retro is the new.
Oh, I'm suddenly feeling very old.
Well, that's good.
How is that good?
Because it opens up a whole world of possibilities for the upcoming services auction.
Wait, isn't this the services auction where you have the choice of dressing up or dressing up?
Yes, what have you decided? Are you going to dress up or dress up?
I'm going to dress up. I'll have to drop off my best suit at the cleaners. How about you?
Oh, I'm going to dress up. I have a cool Renaissance costume with a puffy shirt and a goofy hat. So, back to the future.
Yeah. What did you mean about old possibilities?
Well, I'll explain it to everyone. The services auction is about coming up with goods, services, and parties to offer at auction for the congregation.
Right. Then we all get together for a fun night of food, entertainment, and bidding. And by the end of the night, hopefully everyone will have an armload of goodies, a work of art, or a home-baked pie, a basket full of fun stuff from the choir, gift certificates to local restaurants, and a bunch of party invitations.
Exactly. And sometimes it's hard to come up with new ideas for things to offer for bidding.
And so, instead of new ideas,
people can think about new old ideas. For example, a groovy psychedelic party with black lights and lava lamps and music by the Doors.
Or a DVD collection of classic episodes of The Honeymooners.
Or a basket full of Bonomo taffy, Cracker Jack, Chico sticks, and Choward's violet-scented gum.
A 1980s party where everyone wears shoulder pads and baggy pants.
Or what about a party to show the kids what a sock hop was like?
And the party I know that you would want to go to.
A marathon of the first 3 original Star Wars movies. Coolest parties ever.
You're right. There's a world of new old possibilities. Let's give everyone the details.
Okay. The services auction is our big annual fundraiser, so please plan on attending. It'll be right here in this room on Saturday, November 16th.
We'll start with dinner at 6, and then the auction begins at 7. Remember, you should be dressing up.
Or dressing up.
In the meantime, you'll have to fill out your promissory note or register online right away, letting the committee know what you're going to offer so it can be published in the catalog. If you're coming for dinner, tickets are $25 each and must be bought in advance. Bidding numbers for the auction are $5 each.
Except for newcomers and new members, they get bidding numbers for free. Bring your appetite, your sense of adventure, and, of course, your checkbook. And childcare and entertainment for the kids will be provided, so bring them too.
And if you have any questions, ask Jen Sapel.
Not us.
See you there.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to invite 2 of our dear members, Barbara and Julie Gregg Owens, to light our chalice. We are honored to have Julie and Barbara with us this morning. They both represent the very finest of the enduring work that is necessary to gain human and civil rights for all, especially for the LGBTQI communities. They both work tirelessly to achieve these rights that are so richly deserved. Your lighting of the chalice today serves to symbolize your congregation's endorsement and support of your endeavors and of all the actions that those who struggle for human rights throughout the world. We therefore take a moment that is steeped in spirituality and tradition to hold these words in our hearts as we look upon our chalice light. Equal rights for all. May it be so. Thank you, Julie and Barbara. Celebrating United Nations Sunday is an excellent opportunity for Unitarian Universalist congregations to express our commitment to our 6th principle. We covenant to affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Perhaps Reverend Wayne Arnson, the UU minister of West Shore UU Church of Cleveland, Ohio, expressed it most appropriately when he recently stated, "We UUs are a community dedicated to all that is good and just and beautiful."
We ask that we might be strengthened in our dedication to a better world.
We would remember all those around the world who suffer from acts of violence.
We hold in our hearts all those who are oppressed by forces of privilege and power.
May we find it within ourselves to capture a vision of a future that can be.
Taking courage, friends.
The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high.
Take courage.
For deep down, there is another truth. You are not alone. And that must be the head of the United Nations. Oh, no. UN Sunday was inspired by United Nations Day, which is celebrated annually on October 24th. To understand the significance of these days, one has only to consider the enormity of the effort it took to get these days designated as reminders to peoples of all nations that we must continually seek to persuade, push, and drive our countries, our societies, our neighbors, and ourselves towards actions that encourage and enable world peace. As UUs, we should know that it was a Unitarian lawyer by the name of Frank B. Frederick who persisted for over 20 years, from 1928 to 1947, to establish a day dedicated to world peace. Anyone interested in learning more about this, please speak to me after the service. It's quite a story. Granted, the road to make world peace a reality has been anything but easy. And some might even say it's, quote, impossible to achieve, unquote. We do, in fact, have very little hope, however, of enabling world peace to grow and flourish without the concerted, tireless efforts of those who respect the worth and dignity of all humankind, who recognize that all are interrelated through the web of life, and who are deeply motivated by the principles of justice for all. To enable representatives of nations, non-governmental agencies, and other organizations to achieve such a lofty goal, our UUNO has purposely sought and attained what is known as a consultative status through its work with the United Nations Department of Public Information and Economic, Social, and Cultural Committee.
The importance of our involvement cannot be overstated. From the reach of the organizations just mentioned to over 3,100 NGOs and over 400 additional agencies associated with the United Nations, our UUNO continues to actively promote our values, principles, and purposes in an effective manner.
One connection in particular stands out. It stems from the membership that the UUNO has on the United Nations Human Rights Committee. Today, our UUNO Executive Director, Mr. Bruce Knotts, has achieved a leadership role on this committee, and along with Charles Radcliffe, who presently holds the position of Chief of Global Issues for the United Nations Commissioner of Human Rights, they have seen to it that the LGBTQ rights are being pursued. Furthermore, we celebrate today our involvement with the United Nations by relating to you the scope of our UUNO activities, which you can see there. It's our office's contributions, as you can see, are extensive.
In addition, our UUNO has held yearly youth and adult seminars concerning various human rights and related issues. We continued this practice this year, and it will be concentrating on the problems of Indigenous peoples at the April 2014 seminar. Without a doubt, we celebrate today, UN Sunday, and this year's UN Day, October 24th, knowing our UUNO is doing a great job for a Unitarian Universalist faith and values.
Richard will now play the melody to hymn number 127, Can I See Another's Woe? Once through, then please rise as you're able, once Richard is done rehearsing, and let us sing together. The words are shown on the main hall screen, and for those who wish, they are found in your hymnal. Thank you. Thank you. On this UN Sunday, we, your UU, United Nations Office Envoys, have the wonderful honor of presenting to this congregation, our congregation, the Blue Ribbon Congregation Award. This is the third year in a row that we have received this prestigious award from our Unitarian Universalist Association. Here to accept the award is Michael Goldsmith, Board President, and Lisa Burby, our Board Vice President of our fellowship. This award is given to a congregation, as you can see, that has at least an envoy to the United Nations office, holds a yearly United Nations service, has 15 members, or 5% of our congregation donate individually to the United Nations office, and is a congregation that donates to the United Nations office via an annual budget line or a collective plate, which we proudly do all of these every year. Because of our steadfast support in this manner, our congregation is being formally recognized once again for its dedication to worldwide human rights. The Blue Ribbon Congregation's signification can be found on the UUA website, and as a token of the UUA and the United Nations office, we are the recipients of an award plaque. Please take a moment when you get a chance to review the plaque as it is displayed in our main lobby. But more importantly, the generosity that this congregation has shown to the United Nations office is outstanding. Our fellowship is one of only 27 United States-based congregations out of 1,018 congregations having achieved this degree of support for the United Nations office. Truly, we are a congregation that walks the talk. It is our pleasure as your envoys to formally present to the congregation this year's Blue Ribbon Congregation Award. It goes so well with the other two, the other two awards that Allie is holding in her hands. Congratulations.
Please excuse my voice. I came back from Chicago with more than just an appreciation for deep dish pizza. I'd like to thank Ben and Allie and everyone whose hard work and dedication has made this all possible for us to receive this great honor. When I did fly back, I landed at LaGuardia, and we passed right by the United Nations And as the plane is zipping right by, and I saw it sitting there on the East River like a sentinel for world peace and community, I felt very proud because we helped support that. And it's quite an honor that we were able to do this for 3 years in a row. To receive this award for 3 years, many people have to be thanked. Certainly Ben and Allie. Also, there were previous boards and previous presidents that need to be mentioned. Jen, Bill, Royal. You know, I feel like a relief pitcher that's just getting the win in the ninth inning by getting one out. But they laid the foundations for this, and their support should be acknowledged. And next year, I hope to be in the audience when Lisa accepts the 4th one in a row. So we'll go from the Triple Crown to the Grand Slam. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. There's another award, which is great. Every UU Sunday, UN Sunday, we have the pleasure of giving out Earth Marbles to our 6th and 7th graders. And Allie has been coordinating this with them, and so she'll be giving them out now. Thank you, Allie.
Is that better? Yeah. There we go. All right. So now we have come to arguably the most exciting part of UN Sunday. Today, our 6th graders will receive their Earth Marbles. When I was 5 years old, I saw my first Earth Marble ceremony. It took me forever to get to 6th grade. I could not wait to get this Earth Marble. I've always felt very connected to the 7th principle. The kids' version is the web of life's the way. And it means we respect and take care of our Earth. It's something you kids grow up doing. But when you're in 6th grade, you're ready for a little bit more responsibility. So, can I have all of my 6th graders, and if there are any 7th graders who did not receive their Earth Marbles last year, please come on down and join me up here on the steps. Okay, so I am so happy and proud to give each and every one of you your Earth Marble. But first, we have to hear from you. I would like you to say your name and one thing that you plan to do to take care of the Earth, or one thing that you already do. I can go first. I'm Allie Wolf, and I'm coming to the fellowship for 12 years. And one thing I do to care for our Earth is remind people to not waste water. For example, to turn off the water whilst brushing your teeth. If everyone does that, we'll save a lot of water. As you think about what I've said, consider the adult version of our 7th principle. It says that we covenant and affirm respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. In other words, we care for our Earth. So each of you take the microphone, say your name, and you can say how long you've been coming and one thing that you plan to do to help save the world.
My name's Jordan, and I've been coming for like a year and a half, and I could try to clean up on the beaches more.
My name is Helen. I really don't know how long I've been coming, but it's a fairly long time. 8 years, thank you. And I like to take care of animals.
I'm Tegan, and I've been going here for 8 years, and I plan on volunteering on beaches and places that are covered in litter and cleaning it up.
I'm Natalie Feek, and I think I've also been coming here for 8 years. I don't really know either, but what I like to do is once in a while I go into our backyard and I find litter, and we take, and my brother and I and all my siblings, we put it into plastic bags and throw it out.
Hi, I'm Katerina. I've been coming to the fellowship for I think 2.5 years, and I like to help people turn out the lights or whatever and stuff like that. And in my backyard, I live in the woods, and it's on like a very busy road, so a lot of times people throw trash. So sometimes I'll take hikes down there and pick up some of the trash to help the environment.
I'm Hannah, and I've been coming here for 6 years, and I like to take care of animals.
I'm Julia, and I've been going here since I was in 3rd grade, so I guess like 5.5 years. I like to turn off the lights, and I'd like to maybe clean up litter off the beaches, maybe.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Our pledge to be caretakers for our Earth. Please repeat after me. I promise to care for our Earth. In all of actions. And to gently remind others. To care for our Earth as well. I will now give each of you your Earth marble. Congregation, please hold your applause till the end. Jordan. Helen. That's a little stand. Tegan. So happy you guys are excited. Natalie. Katarina. Hannah. And Julia. Let's hear it for the stewards of our Earth. By the power invested in me by the UU United Nations Office, I proudly and humbly pronounce you official stewards of the Earth. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and congratulations once again. Thank you, Allie. That was great. All right, it's time for us to weave some community. We're going to have Joys and Concerns by Jerry Farrell, and then we'll sing our hymn 123, Spirit of Life, followed by a moment of silent meditation. And we've added something that's not shown on your order of service. I learned that the youth choir is going to entertain us with a song, and then we'll dovetail that into sharing of the offertory later on. Okay, so Jerry, you have some joys and concerns?
Thanks, Ben. Hi, I'm Jerry Farrell. We've come to the portion of the service where we share our joys and concerns for our fellowship family. Frank McWade has been admitted to Huntington Hospital with pneumonia and some other health concerns. He's starting to look better already, so please keep him in your thoughts. And please hold the Coulias family close to your hearts. Candles here represent many other unspoken thoughts and cares of our fellowship family. Let us acknowledge the burdens and hopes carved into the hearts of all gathered here, and remember the struggles of the larger world. May all beings be peaceful, happy, and free. Okay, I invite the youth chorus
to join us up front. Oh, choir, I'm sorry, choir. Thank you, by the way.
They're both on. There it is.
Hold on to me as I go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. No, you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home.
Wow. Richard, the future looks bright. Doesn't it? I mean, that's great. Thank you. Wow. I'm so glad we added that. I mean, that wasn't scheduled. That was wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So now we have Earth Marvels was a highlight, and now the children, well, take care. No, let's we're going to do some sharing and support of our fellowship, and also for the Every Child is Our Child community work that is being done in Ghana. A few weeks ago, Kamala Jacobs came here from the United Nations office and told us a little bit about firsthand knowledge of what's going on in that wonderful endeavor. And so I ask you to please open up your pockets a little bit to give towards that wonderful work. And meanwhile, we'll have the choir come up and do the offertory song, Prayer of the Children. Thank you. Can you hear the prayer of the children on bended knee in the shadow of an unknown empty eyes, no more tears to cry, turning heavenward toward the light. Christ always has made the day the morning light of one more day. But if I should die before I wake, every my soul can you feel the hearts of the children aching for home, for something of their very own, reaching hands with nothing to hold on to, but hope for a better day, a better day. Christ always has made to bear covenant in my own land. But if unknown roads lead away from home, give me loving hearts. Wake Thank you. Now we will sing our children to their RE classes. Thank you very much. At the Unitarian Universalist United Nations Office Intergenerational Spring Seminar held this past April, Mr. Charles Radcliffe, who was mentioned earlier in this service, was one of the session's keynote speakers. In his speech, Mr. Radcliffe emphasized that as recently as 2008, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex human rights remain taboo subjects at the United Nations. Let me emphasize that. As recently as 2008, only 5 years ago, delegates and staff of the United Nations, as well as people associated with the various agencies, organizations allied with the United Nations, including non-governmental organizations, were not willing to talk about the entire subject of LGBTQI human rights. Today, we are glad to inform you that promoting and advocating LGBTQI human rights is an integral part of Mr. Radcliffe's job. Remember that he is part of the UN High Commissioner's Office on Human Rights. That's how far this has come. How did this turnaround occur? It was our very own Unitarian Universalist United Nations Office that was able to get the ball rolling. The UUNO insisted that sexual orientation and gender identity, known as SOGI, human rights, be included in a discussion topic at the NGO Department of Public Information Conference held in Paris, France in 2008. It was at this conference that for the very first time an organization, any organization, was allowed to lead a workshop dealing with LGBTQI human rights. That groundbreaking organization was our very own UUNO. From 2008 through 2011, our United Nations office kept up the pressure. This was greatly enhanced by the report concerning the extent of LGBTQI discrimination and violence throughout the globe. Who led the committee to provide this landmark report? None other than Charles Radcliffe. As they say, it's good to be king. In June 2011, a resolution to end discrimination and violence based on sexual orientation and gender identity was brought to the Human Rights Council by the Union of South Africa. It passed. It was close, but it passed. I think it was 24 to 18. From 2011 to the present, changes have occurred. Reflecting a shift in sentiment, in 2011, the United Nations Human Rights Council adopted the first ever UN resolution on sexual orientation and gender identity human rights. In a follow-up, the UN Human Rights Office issued the first official UN report documenting violence and discrimination laws and practices affecting the LGBTQI peoples of the world. The report's findings and recommendations were taken up by the Human Rights Council last year, 2012, the first time a UN intergovernmental body had staged a formal debate on the issue. Amazing. 2012. It took all this time. Without a doubt, we can proudly find the fingerprints of the UNO leadership and its staff all over these initiatives. Today, UN agencies are on board supporting SCOGI human rights resolutions and policies that previously were not even on the radar. In United Nations terms, my friends, 5 years is a very short time span to have something implemented. Thus, movement from the state of no discussion at all in 2008 to the present stance where the United Nations has established the Free and Equal campaign is astounding. And you can look up that phrase on Google it, search engine it, Free and Equal. It is amazing how much has been done. To foster the goals of our faith that continually encourage dialogue amongst all peoples, RUU-UNO sponsors and conducts intergenerational spring seminars each April. This year's seminar topic dealt directly with LGBTQI human rights. Allie, our UFH youth envoy, attended this year's seminar because we know it is important for our fellowship to get a sense of what these seminars entail. Allie would like to share with you some personal reflections about these seminars in terms of their history, what seminar she has recently attended, and the experience and effect upon her as a teenager. Allie, thank you for sharing with us.
Wow. I've been introduced so thoroughly, there's just no air of mystery around me anymore. Since I haven't properly introduced myself, my name is Allie Wolf. I am a junior in high school, and I am the youth envoy to the UU-UNO. Every April since 2005, the UU-UNO has provided seminars and conducted seminars for Unitarian Universalist youth and adults from all over the U.S. and Canada. We gather in New York City for the Unitarian Universalist United Nations Office Spring Seminar. The seminar is 3 days long, and it is filled with amazing experiences. Participants meet incredible people and hear them speak. We also get an in-depth understanding of the human rights issues in the world around us. I have attended 3 seminars, the themes of which were women's empowerment, race and immigration, and sexual orientation. At each seminar, there is always a panel in a UN conference room at the United Nations, rented for us by Canada. Thanks, guys. The other panels are held at the Salvation Army or at the UN Church Center. I really enjoy the panels. During the seminar on women's empowerment, we had the privilege of hosting a Queen Mother from Ghana. She spoke to us about the Queen Mothers and their involvement with the Every Child is Our Child program, which you heard about earlier. My personal favorite seminar that I have attended was the most recent, entitled Sex, Love, and Violence, Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity in a Globalized World. Personally, I have a passion for this topic, as some of you may know. I think a lot of people here do. The seminar was a ton of fun, as usual. There were some really dynamic speakers. My favorite panel was at the UN, and it was about LGBT issues in religion. On the panel, there were 2 reverends, an imam, and a Hindu scholar. That panel gave me insight into how other religious groups view LGBT issues. The most interesting part of the panel for me was when the imam read excerpts from the Quran that showed open-mindedness to homosexuality. My close second favorite panel was the Gender Identity 101 panel, led by Alex Capitan and Bruce Knotts. They are both fantastic speakers, and I learned a lot. I know a good deal about sexuality, and I thought I had a pretty good handle on gender, but it turns out I really didn't. Gender, as I learned, is the opposite of black and white. It's pure color. It's very similar to when you're picking a color in Microsoft Word and WordArt, and you have that square with nearly every color possible. And one of the things that I learned is that it's the nearly that makes it so similar to gender. You can't name every color, and you can't put a label on every gender identity. It's things like this that stick with you. At every panel, there's almost that one thing that you know you will remember. You'll leave the seminar feeling enlightened. I know personally I feel a lot smarter. It can change your whole outlook on life and the world around you. It also changes how other people view you, because when you've been absent for 3 days and the teacher calls you out on it in front of the whole class and you casually say, "I was at a seminar at the United Nations," there is not a single person who does not think that is the coolest thing ever. The adults at the seminar are always pleasantly surprised by the youth. We go into intergenerational breakout sessions throughout the seminar, and the adults always directly tell us how insightful we are and how important it is that we get everything we can out of this experience. Being a teenager in 2013, I think an experience like this is crucial. We were born into a time where you don't have to know or understand something if you have a smartphone and an internet connection. The internet is an amazing resource for information and staying updated with the current news, but that just isn't what teens are using the internet for these days, myself included. I get updates from the New York Times, so top stories are directly emailed to me, and at this point, I just delete them. But when I get an update from the UUNO, I read it. I take the time to understand what is going on because I have an opportunity to help and to make change. How many people can say that? I'm very happy that this seminar is intergenerational, and it has truly enriched my life and my understanding of the world around me. The seminar has never fallen on my April break, and I hate missing school. So it's horrible. But my mom puts me at ease by saying, "You learn more in those 3 days than you learn in 3 years of school." And that is 100% true.
Thank you, Allie. And I might add that our congregation is most appreciative of the work you have done at the UUNO and the way you have represented us there. Bruce Knotts actually indicated to me just recently he wants to adopt you. And and furthermore, Camila Jacob would like to be your campaign manager for a presidential run in the year 2032, which is by that time you'll be 35 years of age. So, perfect. You are truly an inspiration. Thank you so much. For decades, the word gay was almost never heard in formal meetings at the United Nations. Today, after a series of recent diplomatic breakthroughs, awareness of the gravity and extent of homophobic violence and discrimination and the need to tackle it is widespread and is growing. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and his human rights chief, Nabih Pillay, have led the way. In 2010, they launched a global appeal for the decriminalization of homosexuality and for other measures to safeguard the rights of LGBTQI people. Since then, they have taken up the issue repeatedly in public speeches and private meetings, urging governments to confront homophobic prejudice, not pander to it, and to punish violence and hatred, not love. In recent months, our Secretary of State, John Kerry, along with our UN Ambassador, Samantha Powers, attended a meeting with the ministers from Argentina, Brazil, Croatia, France, the Netherlands, and Norway, and top diplomats from Japan, New Zealand, and the European Union to discuss what needs to be done to continue the momentum towards true equal rights for the LGBTQI community. Yet opposition remains entrenched. There is still a large contingency of governments and societies that need to stop this, that seek to stop this equal rights movement. This can be seen by examining this world map. As Nevi Pillay said, the UN Human Rights Chief, she pointed out, although great advances in the protection of LGBTQI rights in many parts of the world have occurred, there remains a deeply disturbing pattern of violations. Not a week goes by without my office receiving reports of brutal violence and intimidation, police harassment, and discriminatory treatment. In addition, Pillay adds, those who speak out in defense of the rights of LGBTQI people risk persecution and assault, and even in some countries, legal sanctions. What are the major stumbling blocks that prevent giving LGBTQI people the rights they deserve? The major ones are segments of the population are in effect, they say, segments of the population are in effect asking for new or special rights. They also say international treaties are silent on homophobic discrimination, thus nations are not required to address it. They also say, in many of the countries that are shaded in red there, sexual orientation and gender identity are perceived in those countries to be Western culture and societal ideas. Also, same-sex relationships and non-traditional expressions of gender are, quote, incompatible with prevailing cultural, religious teachings and traditional values, unquote. In response to these obstacles, human rights advocates, amongst these being our own UUNO office, indicate, firstly, that there is nothing new or special about granting rights to all peoples for life, privacy, freedom of expression, and freedom from discrimination. Nothing new or special. Secondly, existing international treaties guarantee human rights to everyone without distinction. There is no fine print in any human rights treaties that would permit a nation to grant full rights to some while withholding them from others. Thirdly, it would be difficult to find a historian or an anthropologist or anywhere to support the view that homosexuality is Western. Homophobia, on the other hand, was all too successfully exported by the West during the colonial era. It is a sad reality that many of the laws today used to punish LGBTQI people were originally imposed in the 19th century by the colonial powers of the day. Fourthly, culture, religion, and tradition help shape societies, but they are not monolithic, nor can they override individual freedoms. The collective, however united, cannot impose its shared cultural traditions and religious beliefs on an individual against his or her wishes. While the emergence of a debate at the UN is positive, there remains a mountain to climb. Re-examining our world map, we see that far too many nations still retain laws that criminalize same-sex relationships. Far too few have laws that offer comprehensive protection from discrimination in the workplace and beyond. Fewer still have adequate systems for combating or even recording homophobic hate crimes. The immediate challenge is to keep the focus on the facts. The human rights violations to which far too many LGBTQI people are still subject to. That in turn requires more systematic monitoring, documenting, and reporting, accompanied by continual dialogue to persuade more nations to take necessary measures to address abuses. It will not be easy to overcome the deep divisions exposed by the current debate, but considering how far this discussion has come, in a relatively short period of time, there is every reason to be hopeful that further progress lies ahead at the United Nations on this critical and long-neglected human rights issue. And you can be assured that our United Nations office will remain at the forefront of this fight for equal rights for all. I'd like now to introduce the choir to sing a song, Serenity. Our choir is a blessing. Hopefully this morning we collectively leave this service knowing a little bit more about the spirit of UN Sunday and its meaning for our faith. We are blessed to be involved with a faith tradition that prefers to relish in the diversity of people. We remain convinced that by giving respect to others and treating people with dignity, that by doing so, we will enable their worth to shine through. We also intended for you to gain a little bit more insight into what our UNO office is doing for our faith in our name. All of mankind has choices to make every day, both individually and collectively. Let us continually be influenced and guided by our 7 principles as we continue on our life's journey. Thank you so much for your support. Allie and I will now extinguish the chalice. Please remain seated as Richard plays a postlude that can afford us some time to reflect. Until we meet again, much peace and love. Blessed be.